G'day mates, in today's video I want to talk about the new method you guys can use to get stretch res. Stretch res is that insane field of view bonus you get that makes the game way more enjoyable to play and is actually better for your gameplay. It gives you more awareness, lets you see what's going on. So I'm going to explain how to get that and talk about whether Epic will actually give us a permanent FOV slider. I also want to talk about the new leaks of a tactical sprint coming to Fortnite, the ability to get a really short speed boost like a tactical sprint in Call of Duty, and how that would affect the game, because rumors have it Epic is already developing it and it could be in the game very soon, just like sliding. So there's a lot to talk about. Let's just jump into it. Let's kick off talking about something that has a few people very, very exciting. Stretch res is back. And I mean, kind of. Let me get to that in a second. In case you don't know what I mean by stretch res, I mean stretch resolution. If you played back during chapter 1, you know exactly what I was talking about. There was old methods back in the day where you could change your Fortnite resolution, which would stretch your screen and give you increased FOV, which is field of view. And an FOV slider is something we've been asking for in Fortnite for such a long time. Every other game has it, like literally Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Minecraft, every game has an FOV slider except for Fortnite. Epic took it out of the game because they said it would cause motion sickness and they didn't want that in their players, which is just not a good enough excuse for me. If people get motion sickness with FOV on, then they can turn it back down to what is the normal FOV right now. They don't have to have it increased if they don't want it, but then let players like myself who do want it increased to turn it on. So that's what field of view is. The main advantage is it gives you a better field of view. You can see more. In a box fight, you can see beneath your feet and you can see higher above you, so you have more awareness. It lets you know when players are above you or when they're around you. We have pro players like 72 Hours who have basically quit the game because we don't have FOV sliders, and they will come back to the game if the game gets increased FOV. That's how much it means to some people, and it really does impact gameplay. It has a massive impact on how you can play the game. But it looks like there's a new method to get stretch res. All you have to do is be sliding when you go into the bus, and I mean slide right as you go into the bus. When you see the timer, it gets down to 0 seconds. You want to start your slide. That is what will give you it. You won't get it every single time, but you will almost always get it, and then you can experience what I'm talking about. This isn't a true stretch res because when you aim down sights, you're kind of looking a little bit lower, and when you look from top down, like really vertically, it goes a little bit funny. So this isn't even as good as what stretch res could truly be, but I wanted to let you guys know that you can get it if you like it, to play around with it and have some fun. It's a cool effect. It looks very cool. Again, it is a little bit off on the perception and how it works and stuff, but it opened up this conversation. Should stretch res be back in the game? People are doing what is very clearly a bug. I'm not going to pretend this is something Epic wanted in the game. There's a good chance they patch it very soon, but it's opened up this discussion again of should Fortnite have an FOV slider? And I've always argued yes. I think Fortnite should give as much customization to the player as you can, as long as it doesn't give them a huge advantage, because some people like stretch res, some people don't, and it's not just necessarily that it's better. You don't have to have it on if you don't, but let people customize their game the way they want. Same with custom crosshairs. Let me change the color and style of my crosshair if I want it to be a little bit different. There's a lot of pros and players out there using custom crosshairs through their monitors or through programs, which apparently is technically against terms of service. I don't know why, because they want a better crosshair, because the Fortnite crosshair just isn't that great. And I know it doesn't sound like that big of a deal, like, oh, how much can a crosshair actually help? And it actually is a great deal when it comes to knowing how much bloom you have and hitting your shots and hitting your target. Crosshairs really help. Have you seen the TikTok of the kid who puts like sticky tape on his X key and like draws an X with texture and sticks it on the screen? Like, there's people willing to go to that length just to customize their gameplay, just like FOV sliders. Why can't we? Why can't Epic just put it in the game and let people use it if they want to, and don't use it if they don't want to? I'm guessing their concern was it does make the game look a little bit worse with how we're used to do stretch res, because you would change your resolution, so you have a worse looking screen, but it gave people the better effect, and it also gave them higher FPS. It gave people a lot of FPS boost and let their game run better on worse devices, which again is a really big positive to the game. But I don't think Epic liked when you watched a lot of pro streamers and content creators, the game just didn't really look that nice. But at the same time, players out there, except for Musel, are basically all running their game on performance mode, low meshes, colorblind modes on, everything making the game look as ugly as it possibly can just to get extra FPS out of the game. So that's happening anyway. You might as well give them the ability to change their FOV, and if you don't have to change the resolution to get that extra field of view, then it won't make the game look any worse. It'll just be a different perspective of how you look at it. So I thought I'd include this one in here for anyone who's seen the content creators and pros running around with this stretch res and you wanted to know how to get it yourself. But I also want to use it as an opportunity to ask Epic Games for an FOV slider. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you want an FOV slider? If you do, say yes and let us know. Maybe Epic will actually actually start listening to the community, because I can't see a single downside to adding FOV. If you want it, great, use it. We're very happy. If you don't want it, don't use it. You're back in the same spot. Everybody wins. Let's talk about tactical sprinting coming to Fortnite. So Hypex tweeted out, Epic are working on a tactical sprint mechanic. When activated, your camera will shake just like when you slide. This has me really excited, but a little bit worried as well. Just like sliding, I think this is a mechanic that could really massively affect the game, and it could be a big positive or a big negative. But on the topic of sliding, since I was really worried about sliding, and I think Epic's done a really, really good job to implement it into the game, and I think it has made the game better, it's made me less worried and more excited. There are a lot of people in the comments that are quite worried how a tactical sprint would work in Fortnite. If you don't get what a tactical sprint is, it's like in Call of Duty and games like that, where if you double tap your sprint bind, or there's different binds to do it, you get a huge speed boost for a short amount of time, and then you slow down. So I imagine Fortnite would have like a walking speed and a sprint speed like it does now, and then a tactical sprint that would be a little bit faster on top of that, but it does slow down and you can't do it for forever. I think this could be really cool and add a massive skill ceiling to the game. Just imagine box fighting when you can sprint really fast, really quickly. Like, I know it would be an issue if it was super overpowered, but just like sliding, I think if you use it skillfully and use it in the right way, it adds to the skill ceiling, but doesn't completely ruin the game. And I'm going to keep drawing that comparison, because I know a lot of you guys in the comments are already getting nervous. You're like, I don't want to box fight and some guy just sprints past my wall. Like, I get it. It could be overpowered, but again, sliding, we all worried that it was going to be overpowered, and Epic did a really, really good job of implementing it, and I think it's a fun, cool new addition. So I think tactical sprinting could be the same. My biggest concern would be issues of phasing, same as with the slide, how you can slide phase through walls, which, you know, has been a little bit overpowered, but at the same time, it takes skill to do, and there's not a lot of people doing it anyway, so I don't think it was that broken. But tactical sprinting does sound a little bit easier to use than a slide. I imagine you're about to break a wall, you're on a cone or you're on a stair, and you do the CRR phase trick, where you just tactically sprint against the wall, hit it, and in you go. But is that such a bad thing? Adding another element to fighting and skill and how you use tactical sprint. Let's say you can only use it maybe once every 10 or 15 seconds. It'd really matter when in that fight you use it. Or not even just fighting. Imagine with rotating. Let's say it's endgame competitive Fortnite, super stack lobbies, you're about to run past someone's box, you're low on materials, you need to get past them to get to front side, you hit a tactical sprint for a few seconds, you slide, you get there, you box up. I think it could be really cool and be really fun in multiple situations. And I don't think it'd have a huge effect on the casual level of gaming as well. I think casually it'd just be fun to just sprint around fast every so often. Like, it doesn't have to be this crazy sweaty new mechanic that comp players can use in box fights and wages and all that. I just think it'd be interesting. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think this could be a good addition to the game, or are you worried? But either way, I think we are going to be getting it. Last time Hypex was tweeting stuff out like this about the sliding, a lot of people were very skeptical, myself included. Just thought it was one of those things that maybe it was going to be in for like an event. Maybe like we're watching a concert and you slide down a hill. Like, it wasn't going to be an actual in-game mechanic. And look what happened. So there's a very good chance we will get this at some point, but if sliding something to go off, it's probably more down the line when we're talking years or at least months rather than weeks. But what are your thoughts? Do you want tactical sprinting? All right, guys, that does it for another video. If you enjoyed, please chuck a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.